What's going on, guys, and welcome back for episode number 58 of Rising Above Adversity. AFC Bournemouth is cup final day once again for Bournemouth as we travel down to Wembley to take on a very familiar cup final opponent in Manchester City in the Capital One Cup final. But before we get into any talk of the game, let's focus on what has been going on in the Premier League. Now, you may be looking at the screen right now and be thinking, what the hell has been going on? And honestly, guys, I can't explain it. These past two Premier League games have been the craziest games I've encountered on Football Manager. I mean, we've had some pretty mental games in this save, in fact. I remember we played West Brom a few years ago. We drew 4-4 with them. I remember the game against Liverpool in a live com, in fact, where we scored 2 goals in the final minute of the game to win it 3-2. But these two games just top it. So we're going to start off with the 4-4 against Newcastle. And I'm completely forgetting the fact that we also beat Manchester City 5-2 in the FA Cup. Another crazy result. But we'll start off with the 4-4 against Newcastle away from home, St James's Park. Martin Karpf gives us the lead 9 minutes in. Oliviero, a minute later, another goal, 2-0. Again, Oliviero, 36 minutes in. We're 3-0 up. We're cruising. And then Negro, 37 minutes into the game, we're 4-0 up, and the score stays at 4-0 going into half-time. Now, when you're 4-0 up, I mean, that's it really. You're 4-0 up, you've won the game. You've won the game. So, I'm not sure what happened at half-time, but we came out as Arsenal in the second half. And then, I mean, for much of the second half, we were okay. We were fine. We were still cruising. 76th minute comes around. Eduardo Vargas pulls one back. Okay, that's fine. No worries. Toparak then scores. Okay, getting a little bit shaky, a bit nervy. Eduardo Vargas scores again. And at this point, you know, I'm not really sure what to do because, you know, Newcastle are piling on the pressure. 89 minutes. Leon 4-4. I wish I could express how I felt at that moment, but I honestly cannot put it into words how disgusted I was with my team. To be 4-0 up at half-time against Newcastle, who were, I think they were 10th coming into this game, and draw it 4-4. But let's move on to the Liverpool game at Anfield. Now, as I said, we've had some pretty eventful games against Liverpool. In fact, I'm gonna show you the goals. Let's run through the goals. Hopefully this will be quite quick. We're going to run through the goals against Liverpool in this game. I think, is this the first goal? Okay, yeah, so we've got the first goal coming up here, of course. So, under 10 minutes into the game, hoping for a good performance after throwing 4 goals away. We get off to a brilliant start. Marco Negro with a lovely finish there. 7 minutes into the game, and we're 1-0 up. I'm thinking this is a lot better, but just a few minutes later, Liverpool pile on the pressure. Raheem Sterling plays to Iriamendi into the box. Some very, very questionable goalkeeping there from Pereira. And you'll see today he's actually not going to be playing in the Capital One Cup because, again, some very, very questionable performances in the last 2 games. But we do take the lead again. Martin Karpf in the box for his second goal since joining Bournemouth. He's been performing really, really well. I'm talking about the role that I've kind of moved him into when we get to the team sheet. But again, I hope this doesn't take too long. There's a lot of goals, of course, but Liverpool equalise here, I think. Balotelli, some very questionable defending as well. But Liverpool early in the second half then take a 3-2 lead. And at that point, I'm really wondering if, you know, we're going to throw the title away. We've been looking strong for the title all season. And Liverpool come again and they end up taking a 4-2 lead. And it gets worse. It gets worse, guys. It does get worse. You know, you think 4-2, it can't get any worse than that. Well, it does. We'll see it again here. We're on the attack. Negro gets challenged on the ball. He stays on his feet. Do we score here? I'm pretty sure we don't. No, we don't, of course, because Nathaniel Klein gets the ball. Liverpool hit us on the counter-attack. Douglas Costa on the ball. Plays it out wide to Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling destroys our defence. And then Mamana boots it against Lee Song-yong. And it's 5-2. With 20 minutes to go, 5-2. It's looking like curtains for us. It's looking like curtains. But Marco Negro plays it into Núñez with an absolutely beautiful strike. Núñez pulls one back, makes it 5-3. With 20 minutes to go, there is a glimmer of hope. And again, this game. It wasn't a game for defending. Let's be real. It wasn't a game for defending. Some absolutely terrible defending going on from both sides in this game. But we make it 5-4. I'm struggling to keep up with it here myself, guys. But it's 5-4. 10 minutes to go in the game. We've got enough time to score again, and we do another own goal. I mean, I think that's the third own goal in this game, isn't it? It's got to be the third own goal in this game already. And with 8 minutes left to go in the game, it's 5-5. We've got plenty of time to score again. And of course we do. I'm just going to speed up the highlights just a little bit. Because as I said, I don't want this to go on. This is about the cup final today. But I wanted to show you the goals from this game. But I don't know what happened in the last 10 minutes because we were possessed. We really were. We played incredibly for the final 10 minutes of the game. Negro scores again. Makes it 6-5. And Negro's been absolutely incredible in recent weeks. You can see there, look at that strike. That was an absolutely beautiful goal. And he's got 26 goals in all competitions now. It really was just a mental game. And then we get the final goal, Marco Negro again in the 92nd minute of the game to make it 5-5. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really much more I can add than that. I mean, what can I say? It's crazy. But this is the league table quickly. We are level 1 points with Manchester City now, so it is looking very interesting. Chelsea and Manchester United still not out of the title race, only 4 points behind us and City. So, yeah, the Premier League title race is looking really good at the moment. But let's get to the cup final. We've got a new team today, or a new tactic, I should say. You can see I've got 2 midfielders set on support, and it's not something I've tried on Football Manager 2015 or Football Manager at all, really. But I'm gonna try this. But we're gonna start off with the back four. So Bardi has been recalled to the side. Pereira, as I said, some very questionable performances in the last few games. So Bardi is coming back into the team. We've got a back four of Raheem Mokhtar, Lee Song-yong, Mamala and Para. As I said, I've got those 2 midfielders on support. It's going to be Chininia and Andres Cubas. Now, Benjamin Nunes is quite unlucky not to be playing in this game. He's played really well in recent weeks. But I feel like with this system, we need someone in there alongside Cubas who's going to be defensively aware. Benjamin Nunes is not a defensively aware player. Chininia, as you can see, much better defensively. You know, he's tackling, he's positioning. He's not got amazing strength, but I think the fact that he's got really good tackling, positioning, things like that, counteract that, sorry. But we've also got Andres Cubas playing in a box-to-box midfield role today. It's not something I've tried him in, but I think he can play really well in this role. You know, he's got the work rate, he's got the stamina, and he's got the all-round stats to be able to be a box-to-box midfielder. Only thing that lets him down is his finishing, really, in that role. But I think as a box-to-box midfielder, I think he could really do well. You can see he's one of our most consistent players. So I'm giving him a go in that role. We've got Correa on the right, and we've got Martin Karp in the Enganche role. Now, of course, when I bought him, I said my plan was to play him deeper in the midfield. But I quickly learnt that he's just much better further up the pitch. And I've not actually tried the Enganche role in Football Manager 2015. But I like the idea of having, you know, just someone who's just going to sit in there behind the striker and pick out passes, you know, to the wingers getting forward. Possibly Cubas, who's going to be running ahead of him. I just want him to be, you know, sit there and cause havoc, basically, because that's something he can do. He's hit the ground running for us. 2 goals in 4 games in the league. He's already got 4 assists as well, so he started off really well. We're going to try him in this role and see what he can do. We've got Marcelo on the left, and we've got Marco Negro up front. 26 goals in 30 appearances for Marco Negro this year. I mean, he doesn't look incredible, but he's only 20, of course. And his goal scoring record is pretty amazing. He's got, how much is it in the league? He's got 16 and 21 in the league. He's been a really, really good player for us this year. So he's going to start this game. But this is the team, this is the system that we're going to play. And of course, as it is one game in this episode, I will cover it in full. I mean, I don't want this episode to be too long, but I think it is going to be a bit long after looking through all those goals. But let's get straight into it. I'm expecting Man City to play their usual 3 at the back formation, but let's see. Of course, we have a very, very good record against Manchester City in cup finals. We have beaten them in 3 cup finals so far in this series. They're actually playing 4 at the back. That's quite interesting. So they've changed their formation, and Hervin Ongenda's starting. He hasn't really been playing for Man City. He's not played a single league. Has he ever played a league game for Man City? Let's have a look at that quickly. Okay, he made 7 appearances at Man City since joining them. 4 years ago, 3 years ago. So Hervin Ongenda starts up front for City. I'm a bit surprised at the formation. They've got the Bernardo Silva, the new signing, of course, a really good side. But we'll get into the game. Kevin Volland's not playing, which is good. I hate Kevin Volland on this game. Always seems to cause problems for us, but we'll see. We've got a very good record against City. As I said, I think I need to change the cameras as well, because I changed them for the to show you the goals. So let's get back to 2D Classic, and yeah, we'll get into it. As I said, we've got the edge over City in cup finals, and I'm confident that we can do it again, although we're a minute in and the first opportunity could be coming City's way. Rodrigo de Paul on the ball, plays it to Bernardo Silva. Bardi with the save. Rodrigo de Paul doesn't score from the rebound, but City have started the game very, very well. 4 shots already, and we need to get ourselves in the game quickly. Martin Karpf tries to get a tackle in. Raheem Ait Mokhtar wins back the ball. Martin Karpf plays it all the way back to the keeper. Let's get it forward now. Bardi look to get the ball forward, taking an awfully long time to get his kick away. And Joaquin Correa now, what can he do on the ball? Hasn't got many options, but he plays it into Martin Karpf. Marco Negro now on the ball. Andres Cubas in that box-to-box midfield role. Marcelo gives us the lead with his 10th goal of the season. Some lovely passing play there. Started off on the right-hand side, ended up on the left. Marco Negro, Cubas slips in Marcelo. No one picks him up, and he's got enough time to slot the ball in the back of the net. And that is a very, very positive start after, initial little burst in the first 5 minutes from City. We've kind of started to get a real hold of the game, and that's really pleasing. If we can make it 2-0 before half-time, that would be excellent. But Hervin Ongenda, of course, we know everything about Hervin Ongenda, but Bernardo Silva seems to be causing us a little bit of problems on that right-hand side. A couple of times now that he's cut inside and managed to get a shot away. So we need to look at Bernardo Silva, trying to keep him locked down, because he seems like a really dangerous player. But we're coming towards the half-time. Even, and we are 1-0 up, so very, very good half so far. And I'll just tell the players that I'm pleased with how things are going and keep it up. It would be really nice to win the Capital One Cup final again. Of course, it's not a competition that is, that important in England, and it's not a competition that I'm focusing on, but, we're in the final, and another trophy to add to the collection would be nice. And Chininia plays it into Karpf. Andres Cubas, can we make it 2-0 early on in the second half? Marcelo, well tackled by Sam Byram, and that will be the end of the highlight. So as I said, the Premier League race is looking very, very good at the moment. Again, as you would expect, Manchester City are closely chasing us, and Chelsea and Man United with an outside chance of getting in there. But, we've got a lot to focus on at the moment. We've got the second leg against Leverkusen coming up in a few days' time, so it's going to be interesting to see how we juggle our resources. We're still in the FA Cup as well, but can we make it 2-0 in this game? Andres Cubas into Marcelo Negro, he's got to score. The defender gets his body in the way and manages to get it clear. But should I make a substitution? I think it's time to make a sub, so I'm going to bring off Chinini. I'm going to bring on Benjamin Nunes, and that's the only change I'm going to make. Just bring on Benjamin Nunes, a bit of fresh legs in the middle of the park, a little bit more creativity there with Benjamin Nunes. Of course, he's a bit unfortunate, as I said, not to actually have started this game. He's played really well in recent weeks, but I just felt like Chininia just gave us a little bit more defensively in that role. I thought he was going to give away a penalty there. Marco Negro nods that down, but he hasn't got anyone to get on the end of it. And Man City are going to bring it forward with Isco into Rossin. Raheem Mokhtar, though, with an absolutely even brilliant challenge on Gender, though. Mohamed, well tackled again by Andres Cubas. Can we hit him on the counter attack now? Plays it forward to Negro. He's got runners ahead of him, but he's going to go by himself. He gets the shot away. It probably was going wide anyway, but Joe Hart deciding to make the save. Whacking Correa with the corner. Well dealt with by Mohamed. This game seems to have not been... This game hasn't been the most exciting, has it? But not a game of many clear-cut chances. But going into the final 10 minutes, we're looking good to win the Capital One Cup final. We've defended really well. You can see Lee Song-yong, Mamana having really good games in the defence, Whacking Correa. And that is a second booking, surely, for Rossin. It is. Manuel Rossin, with 7 minutes to go, has been sent off for Manchester City. And you would think now that surely that will mean that we will win the Capital One Cup final. We're going into injury time. Just a couple of minutes left. Final seconds of the game. And there is the full-time whistle. We've got one over on City once again in a final. We've won the Capital One Cup. And I'm very, very pleased with that. Marcelo's goal was the goal to win it. And that's another trophy in our trophy cabinet. We'll look through some of the news items. I think that's the third Capital One Cup final that we've actually won now, isn't it? In the save, of course, all against Manchester City. So that is really pleasing. But, you know, we've got to focus now. We've got the second leg of the Champions League first knockout round against Leverkusen coming up in a few days' time. That tie very evenly poised, of course, after we drew 1-1 in the first leg. So if you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. I'll be back on Monday, of course, at 5:30 with more Bournemouth, and again at 8 PM with Restoring Style. So until then, I'll see you guys.